without further ado, I would like to bring up your host, Geek Comedy Night. 1 year anniversary. I can't do it justice. Nobody can. Mr. Kevin Houston. Harrington. Kevin Harrington.
Harrington, Harrington. We've literally been doing this for a year. Not once has my name been said correctly. I am the creator and host of Geek Comedy Night. Give it up for yourselves. Give it up for all of the comedians that you're about to see. Give it up for our general manager. He's been promoting his agenda. We've had to get a little corporate sponsorship to kind of help our show out through these years. But like every project, you know, it's a rough start, but we're here celebrating 1 year, 1 full year of Geek Comedy here in Davis Square at Comicazi. So give it up for Comicazi for putting this show on. Just as we've said earlier, if you guys need to get a drink or use the restroom, feel free to go do so at any time. You know, there's not an intermission. We'll just be having a series of sketches and stand-up. It's really fun. And tonight's show, since we're celebrating a year of Geek Comedy Night, we're just doing, it's a whole variety. Each month we generally have a theme. So for September we were doing Back to School and kind of saluting 80s movies. And next month, since it's October, we're going to be celebrating horror with Geek Dead, which will be Saturday, October 5th, right here at 8 o'clock. And there's periodically stuff happens at the show. Just kind of go with it. That's the only way I've just been able to. It's like
You unlock this door with the key of imagination.
Comicazi was built on a Native American burial ground. I believe that's the politically correct term to use. So every now and again, something odd happens.
You're
with
moving
the
into
show,
a land of
and
both
you
shadow and
just kind of
substance, of
just
things
go with
and
it.
ideas.
It's
You just
nothing's
cross over
wrong.
into
Nothing's going to break apart. It's just. Can I help you, sir?
Submitted for your approval. One Kevin Harrington, a geeky comedian who books a monthly comedy show in the back of a comic book store.
This is why I know this is weird. He actually got my name right.
A comic book store located in the Twilight Zone.
Great. So, are we? Is the show haunted? Is that the theme
Oh,
now?
just ignore me. I'm not even here. Just keep going.
It's a little hard to ignore you. You're narrating what I'm doing.
No, that's don't worry about me. I'm fine.
Okay. We have a great show.
Kevin Harrington, booking a comic book show in the back of a comic book store located in the Twilight Zone. He used to book comics, and now his life will become a comic book.
What?
It's what's gonna happen. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Wait, whoa! Am I in danger? I'm gonna turn into a comic book, or
Yeah, I don't like to give away the twist,
is that the twist?
but it's kind of. You're gonna read a comic book, and it's gonna be your life in it, and then it's like something bad is gonna happen in the comic book, and you're gonna worry it's gonna happen to you, and it does.
So I'm gonna worry about something terrible happening to me, and something terrible will happen to me.
Yeah, I don't like to give away the twist usually at the beginning like this, but it's don't just keep doing the show like you would.
Okay.
I'm not even here.
Perfect.
I'm just not even.
Totally natural. This is my life. This is where I'm at these days. We have a great show tonight. We have
Kevin Harrington, a man who doesn't think anything weird is going to happen to him.
except the fact that we just talked that weird shit's gonna happen to me.
But I thought that you'd forgotten because we talked about it. You thought maybe it was a joke.
Am I like a goldfish? If I break eye contact with you, I reset. I'm just gonna keep going.
It's difficult when you acknowledge me.
Okay.
I'm just trying.
It's like being with a stripper. You're not supposed to make eye contact. Just do your thing.
Yeah,
The stripper does their thing.
You kind of ruined what. I mean, it's better if you don't hear me.
Okay.
Because you just go on with your life.
You're right. You're right.
And then don't even worry about it. I'm just gonna leave because it's not even worth it.
Dude, I'm sorry. Like, if this
No,
is
it's
your
all
thing,
right.
I want to support you. We're here doing geek comedy. If your fetish is you like to come to comedy shows and narrate the things that are going on, if that's what
only
you
when I like to dress up nice.
I know, you look
And
great.
thank you. It's you put a little effort
I
into your
know.
appearance.
I feel like such a schlub. This is our birthday. You wore a suit. I mean, that's really nice of you.
No, I know. I mean, you try to look respectable if you're going to kind of play with someone's life. Like, if you're into the Twilight Zone. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just, part of it was the era that it was in, but it was also, people just cared about themselves more back then. And it just,
right.
And it shows.
Simpler time.
It shows, yeah.
Good old-fashioned irony. Not like this big stuff crazy irony that we have to Wikipedia to understand. I'm really sorry.
That's fine. You just keep doing the show. You're doing a great job. Can we hear it for Kevin? Kevin Harrington? He's doing a great job.
Stranger, I didn't catch your name.
Rod Serling.
Rod Serling.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard of you. Yeah. Well, Rod, thanks so much for coming by.
You're
I'm
welcome.
sorry.
You can keep
If you want to hang out here, I mean.
Yeah, I would just keep doing the show.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep doing the show. Rod Serling, ladies and gentlemen, coming down here, keeping it weird, keeping it real for Geek Comedy Night.
Kevin Harrington. Someone who was cool with Rod Serling on the stage with him.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know what? I for real, I'm going to leave. I'm going to let you do your.
Okay, thanks very much, sir.
Kevin Harrington.
All right, Rod Serling. Rod Serling, ladies and gentlemen. Just one of the many weird and unusual things that you can see here on Geek Comedy Night. We have poets, we have stand-ups, we have sketches, we have characters, we have sketch. It's just, it's something new every night here.
It was Earth! It was Earth the whole time!
What?
Oh my god. You're me. You're me from the past. And I'm you from the future. I remember this night. The comedians, the terrible host.
Oh, come on.
Everybody's here. Mom and Pop. And Mr. Dingle who runs the soda shop. And Mrs. Halthrop who leaves her pies out on an April afternoon to cool. Oh my god. Damn you all to hell!
We've had worse openings. Honestly, at least...
Did I miss anything?
You mean anything weird? I had a guy time travel come back from the past and see his younger self. Apparently, I'm a terrible host.
Yeah.
She makes pies. He is a teacher that he hasn't bonded with in years. Just normal stuff. Par for the course.
Now I know I won't do that later on. So.
Oh shit! Now I'm ruining the time continuum.
Well, all right. Keep going. And we're not even.
You know what? We're just going to pick up it like this is seamless. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a great show tonight. To kick things off, we've got a very funny comedian. You can see him all over Boston. He is a comedian. He also writes poetry, performs poetry. You can see him here at Grandma's Basement, the Comedy Studio in Harvard Square. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Wes Hazard.
All right. Hey, what's up? Thank you. All right. How you guys doing? Doing good?
Yeah.
All right. So glad to be here. Love performing here. And please, round of applause for Kevin and Geek Comedy Night. This is his birthday. Come on. Yeah. Fantastic. I love me some Twilight Zone. That is the only patriotic tradition that I uphold on July 4th. All right, like, July 4th, don't talk to me. I'm watching Twilight Zone pretty much all day long. Like, that's weird that our country, that's how we decided to commemorate. Like, that's my main thing that I do. I don't go to rallies. I don't, hold a flag. I watch Rod Serling fuck with people's heads for, hours. All right, that's fantastic. I love that. Twilight Zone. Sort of weird because, people often forget, if Twilight Zone was Community, then concurrent to that, you had The Outer Limits' Big Bang Theory back in the day. Except that Outer Limits sucked significantly less than Big Bang Theory, and it was great. And I just want to shout out to that. No one ever recognizes Outer Limits. Fantastic film series. So I'm a geek myself. This looks a lot like my bedroom, fantasy bedroom. I want to share something with you. I don't usually talk about this outside of performance space because I want to maintain some level of social standing at all. But I will reveal to you that I was the president of my high school science fiction club. All right, totally, yeah, I did that. It was great. Normally, people do not applaud for that. There was a lot of punching, but I'm glad. Thank you. It was fantastic. It was called Alternate Infinity. That was the name of it. It was crazy. It was so weird because I don't know if you guys had this. If you had our science fiction club at your high school, we had a really convenient thing. It was a bylaw right in the student handbook that really made the job easier for me. Where if you were the president of the sci-fi club, you automatically became the president of the abstinence education group. It was fantastic. Like, you know, that just dovetailed. It was really convenient. That guy's playing Game Boy in the back right now. Love it. All right, great. Like, didn't even blink an eye. It's like, fuck, I'm on the next level. I'm not even gonna look at you. All right, nice. Like it. All right, so that was fantastic. I want to tell you something like that. All right, so obviously geeky heritage. If you hadn't gotten it from like the Pocket Protector and the General Urkel flavor, but this summer I did something. I took my geek to the next level. I did something I thought I would die and never do. And like this was like a level 11 geek shit. Right? This summer, I swear to God, for the first time ever, I went to my first ever Star Trek convention. Okay, I did that. Yeah, it happened. It was just fell into my lap. I wasn't planning on it the night before. Friend on Facebook was like, "Hey, my buddy bailed on me. Got an extra ticket. Anyone want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do this." So I went there. It was down at Hyde Convention Center, and it was crazy because so much happened. It was beautiful. I would go again in a second. But more important than anything, I think I experienced the greatest moment of racial pride that I've ever had in my entire life at this thing. Okay, this is what happened. It was after the convention had pretty much broken up for the day. I'm in the hallway, they're clearing off tables and everything like that. I'm sitting on the ground charging up my phone, and out of an elevator, who walks out of an elevator? I shit you not, I swear to God, LeVar Burton. LeVar Burton came out of this elevator like, you know, Jordan LaForge, reading Rainbow, like that motherfucker. Like, I was like, oh my God, I was like starstruck. Like, I was starstruck. He came out, and what was crazy about it, he was so cool. He had so much swag. Like he had his luggage with him, but he was getting like VIP treatment. Like the hotel concierge was with him. It was like, right this way, Mr. Burton. Like, you know, and people were trying to roll up on him to get autographs. He's like, back away. He's not ready to take autographs right now. I was like, damn. I did not know Jordan LaForge rolled like that. Like that was amazing. All right. I saw that and I was like, that's beautiful, beautiful thing. But then I saw something even better. I looked to my left. Same time, like 2 seconds later, I saw 3 adult black Star Trek cosplayers, all right? Full uniform, all right? It was amazing, all right? 2 of them had Deep Space Nine engineering uniforms. 1 of them had an original series command uniform. Don't ask me how I know the colors, I know. All right, I saw that, and I was like, oh my, when I saw those 2 things together, I was like, this is what Rosa Parks fought for, all right, right here. This is the great, forget Obama being elected, this is the greatest shit of all time, all right? Racial equality in America, like, it was beautiful. It shed a tear, it was so great. Another thing I saw that same day was crazy. I was really close to the man of the hour, which if you go to a Star Trek convention, you can't meet anybody bigger than this, all right? I was like 100 feet away from Mr. William Shatner himself, all right? He's up on stage, he's doing Q&A, 1,000-person convention hall, almost capacity if you see this guy. He's a pro. He's been doing this forever. He's smooth, witty, like just a really nice. And after his Q&A, after his question, his interview, he had like a line of like 20 people deep on each side of the stage to come ask him questions. And like people were really excited to see William Shatner. You know, he's like king of the nerds, which is weird because you can tell watching that he is not one. He hates all of you, all right? Like, it was like you can tell like he wasn't like a jock, like dunk your head in the toilet, like football player in high school, but he wasn't one of us. Like, you know, he was definitely like, and it's gonna be this weird purgatory where you're idolized by people that you loathe. I don't know. I want to get to that level one day. But he was like, you know, the people on the side of the stage asking the questions, and the line's so thick you can't even see some of the people. Like that many people are clogged up. And 4th question in, you know, someone says something you can't really hear it, and then he just bends down and he's like, "Little girl, what's your question?" And all you hear out of this like crowd, 1,000 people, is, "I'm a boy!" And I was like, "Oh shit! Oh!" I said out loud in front of a crowded convention hall, 1,000 people. I said, "That shit's gonna hurt forever." And I know that's true because it is gonna hurt forever. Very similar thing happened to me. 11th grade, I was in Model Senate. I went up to go ask the moderator a question. I had a hat very low over my eyes, and he's like, "Young miss, what's your question?" And everybody laughed at me. Everybody, like, you know, and that was like 15 years ago, and that still hurts when I think about it. And that wasn't coming from Captain Kirk in front of 1,000 people either, right? That kid is messed up for life, all right? Like, you just got punked by your idol in front of 1,000 people, all right? I tell you that. I tell you what, like, there was a little pillow that got soaked in some nerd tears that night, all right? No way about it. That was crazy. So that was amazing. I would definitely go to Star Trek convention in a second. And what I wanted to do, I was asked to do something by request, and I'm very happy to do it because I like doing this. Little change of pace. We're up here having some jokey jokes. I am going to read a poem for you, and I wrote it for a chapbook that I put out earlier this year. and I think it's really apropos for this stage and audience, but a little bit of change in tone, so probably, I would say, not funny, but you can still appreciate, maybe, I would say. So I put out this chapbook earlier this year for poetry, and this guy had a movie come out this year, and I put this out earlier this year thinking about that. So here we go. This one is called Demigod Trials. Certainly one of the most overlooked burdens on Superman is that he daily has to listen to thousands of people die with his name on their lips. Think of it. With him in the skies, only a handful of people on the planet could be unaware of his existence and abilities. Here is a man who can fly, stop bullets, lift a tank, outrun the speed of sound, and render metal molten with a sharp stare. Given his power, we can assume that in moments of life or death desperation, thousands of people daily scream his name in the terrified hope that it will come streaking through the sky and scoop them from their doom. People caught in earthquakes, people in dead-engine airplanes spiraling toward the ground, people in dark alleys with their murderers approaching. All of them, when caught in their cornered animal fear, must cry wild for his last chance aid and rescue. But even Superman can't be everywhere to stop all that death. He can certainly hear it, though. Perhaps his greatest power is his ability to remain sane. Thank you very much.
Mr. Harrington.
Wes Hazard, one more time. I love that poem. I'm a huge comic book geek, obviously. Let's look where we are, what we're doing right now. But kind of the neat thing about what we do on the show is I like things that are variety. And Wes did that on our Star Trek and Superman themed show, because we had, both movies at the same time. And it kicked me in the chest, and I was like, it's not a joke, but I love that poem, and I love how that feels. So I was like, could you please do that? Because I kind of wanted to touch on, this is like a best of, kind of our favorite things. You're going to see a lot of friends from different themes throughout the night. And speaking of friends, another friend of mine coming to the stage, you can see him at Improv Boston performing, also at the studio in Harvard Square. He is a stand-up and an improviser. Please put your hands together for Sean Clark.
Come over, Kevin. Let him know. So I haven't had a drink in about 3 weeks now. I didn't quit drinking or anything crazy like that. I'm a social drinker, and I don't have any friends. No, I'm exaggerating. I have friends, and I have a drinking problem. You see, I'm more of what you'd call a social media drinker. I just get some beers, log on to Facebook, and have some drinks with all 587 of my friends. Gang's all here. Like, poke! Hope the cops don't break up this crazy party. So in addition to having a drinking problem, I also have an eating problem. I was a fat kid growing up. I love food so much that I used to read menus for pleasure. I'd be in a restaurant, I'd place an order, and the waiter would reach for the menu, and I'd say, hold on a second, I'm just getting to the good part. I need to see how this one ends. The apple crisp did it. But it's difficult being a fat kid, because it really has an effect on your outlook in life, like girls, or sex rather, and I was really curious about sex as a fat 15-year-old boy. So I looked up some risque videos online, and I just remember sitting there, just watching this passionate, graphic, physical embrace, and just thinking to myself, Jesus Christ. This looks fucking exhausting! Literally, I guess, but for a fat, awkward kid, sex is like a combination of your two biggest fears, women and physical activity. There's so much cardio, and depending on your partner, it's either high weight, low reps, low weight, high reps. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a wet dream and a nightmare. I was never one to objectify women, but after that, they were looking more and more like exercise equipment. So if you didn't figure out by now, I wasn't a very athletic kid. I needed a gallon of Gatorade just to get through playing a game of Madden 2002. Like, I love video games. Like, my favorite video game was Pac-Man, though, because I felt like I could relate to him the most. Because all I know is, if I was being chased about a maze by ghosts trying to murder me, my biggest concern would be my last meal, too. It's like, hey, look, pretzel carbs! Oh, hey, look, fruit! Never had that before! Oh, holy shit, look! Circles on the floor! Let's just eat all these. I bet I'll accomplish something. But I did lose the weight, though. You know, I lost 50 pounds in the course of a year. And validation is all I ask. You know, I did it through, I read the workout magazines. You know, they teach you, how to eat right, you know, what to do to, work out, and it's very crucial to, the person I am today. But my favorite thing with workout magazines, though, is the fact that after every single superhero film, there's always like a superhero-themed workout to go with it. It's like, learn how Liam Hemsworth got built for the role of Thor. It's the Thor workout. Just looking forward to the Spider-Man workout. All you gotta do is get bit by a radioactive spider. There's also the Batman workout, which guarantees to help you lose over 300 pounds. But it turns out it just refers to the collective weight of your parents when they're gunned down in front of you. I don't know, too soon maybe? But I am doing one superhero-themed workout. It's X-Men inspired. It's the Professor X workout. All you gotta do is sit in a chair all day and criticize mutants. And that's the story of how I got my first full-length mirror. So I'm Irish-American, just like every fucking white person in Boston. The thing is, though, I went to Ireland this year, and it was great, beautiful country, but their economy is horrible. Like, when I was there, I counted 17 cash for gold stores, so you know things are bad when even the leprechauns are struggling. But I'm not from Boston originally. I grew up in a town called Bellingham, and we live right next door to a town called Woonsocket, Rhode Island. And for those who aren't familiar, Woonsocket, Rhode Island's a lot like the picture as of Gotham City, particularly the 1960s version. Except it's not so much as like bam, pow, as it is stab and overdose. Now I was in a Walmart there recently, getting essentials or necessities, whatever Walmart sells, and I couldn't find what I was looking for, so I saw someone in a Walmart uniform hunched over in an aisle. I figured I'd ask her, where I can find what I was looking for. So I tap her on the shoulder and say, "Excuse me, miss." She turns around, has a rubber hose wrapped around her arm, syringe in her vein, and I'm just thinking, oh my god, I'm a witness. Snitches get stitches. And all she says to me is, "Hey, I'm on my break, okay?" I guess that's Walmart for you. Always low prices, always high employees. I've never been very good with women. Like, I didn't get my first girlfriend until college. She was a bisexual feminist. I'm not bragging, it's not a contest, but great girl, very peculiar. It wasn't history, it was her story. Yeah? Not mankind, womankind. Not a boy caught, but a girl caught. Oh, and it wasn't her piece, it was his piece! But what sucks with dating a bisexual woman is the fact that she's probably been with a lot more women than you. And I was a virgin at the time, and she was going to be the first woman I had sex with, keyword being was, spoiler alert. But I just remember when I saw her naked for the first time, this was the first time in my life I ever saw a vagina before. And this famous quote just ran through my head. Sometimes, when you look into the abyss, the abyss also looks into you. So long story short, got into a staring contest with this thing. Lost and ran home crying. And that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. Thank you guys so much. I'm Sean Clark.
Sean Clark, one more time. Cthulhu, right? Is that H.P. Lovecraft? Maybe not. No, that's Nietzsche. That's Nietzsche. I love that my references, if they're anything literary, I'm like, yes, it's the great works of Stephen King. Alan Moore, right? Alan Moore? No, it's Godot. Oh, what? Is that a French animator? No. Since we're confessing, I figure, and I'm also surrounded by Star Wars, this triggers a little confessional with me. I was heavily influenced by Star Wars. I mean, the good one, like the everybody's with me. The good one, the first 4, 5, and 6 is what we're calling it, but I like to call it Star Wars right, right and proper. I saw that as a child. It was actually the first film I saw. I was like a week old. My parents had already had... My brother and sister are 12 and 11 years older than me, so I wasn't so much as a sibling as like a pet, that they were just like, oh, this is a thing that we bring around, and we maybe get discounts, because, oh, look, we have this thing with us. We get it for free. Oh, we got a babysitter. Oh, okay. So by the time, like, you're the youngest child, parents just don't really give a shit about, like, protection or parenting. Like, yeah, we can go see this. So I think it's, like, the radiation from the celluloid of seeing Star Wars that, like, bonded it to me on a subatomic level. That when I did finally start to talk, I only referred to people in my immediate family and then any strangers or people that I would see habitually as characters or names from the Star Wars film. So this is, I'm guessing I started talking maybe about a year and a half, or year, whatever. It didn't end. It didn't end for a good long time. To the point where, I mean, let's face it, if your child is only speaking and like, it's like, oh, it's a phase. But after a week, a couple of weeks, months, into a year, you're like, do I have a child that's a little, special, gets bandied around a lot around the house? And my father, he was a little worried. He was just like, is there some... he was like, is there something okay with my son not knowing what is the proper thing to say? Because he's just starting to get worried. Like a kid that refuses to break character, it's like they're lost in a K tunnel. They're the raver kid that's like chasing the dragon. And my mom, bless her heart, was like, I think it's a sign of intelligence. My father never questioned a weird thing I did for the rest of my life. He was like, whatever. If he's special and he's smart, I'm behind it. So. Yeah, it's Irish Catholic. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he talks in tongues. Yeah, that's great. As long as he gets into school, it's fine. It's fine. Just speak in tongues and get into school. That's all we care about here. Speaking of a guy that speaks in tongues, comedy tongues, that is, he is a designer, and he is my partner in crime on a project, if you guys want to invest in, called Werewolf Pizza. It's going to change your life. He is the designer for our logo of Geek Comedy Night and numerous of our posters. Very funny man. Please put your hands together for Ryan Sawyer.
A lot of colored lights up here. I feel like I'm doing stand-up inside the Infinity Gauntlet. Okay. So I have a sexual fantasy where I'm on a raft in the middle of the ocean with a beautiful woman. And, the ship has gone down days ago, and there's no land anywhere for miles around, just endless ocean, an occasional seagull kind of going by. And we have nothing better to do, so we just make sweet, passionate love on this undulating, final raft. And I'm never going to be able to roleplay this fantasy because my apartment lease specifically states I cannot own a waterbed. Every lease I've signed in Boston says you cannot have a waterbed. Is this anyone else? You've seen this no waterbed clause. Is this a significant problem for landlords in the 21st century, where these 20-something Boston kids are not only buying waterbeds but destroying them and causing damage to their property? I don't. It's one of the few 80s fads that have made its way into the apartment clauses these days. You'll no longer see. Sony Walkmans must be played at a reasonable volume. Chia pets may not exceed 4 inches in height. Any damage caused to the carpeting by jelly shoes may be deducted from your security deposit. But I mean, even if I could find a waterbed, who would want a waterbed? They're proven to be terrible, terrible things. Conceptually, it's the exact opposite of those amazing Tempur-Pedic mattresses. Like they got the Tempur-Pedic commercials, the guy's up on a ladder, and he drops a bowling ball down, and there's a glass of wine on the other end of the mattress, and the glass of wine doesn't move, and that's amazing. And I would love to see that commercial redone with a waterbed, where he drops the bowling ball and it bounces up and smashes him in the face, and the glass of wine goes flying off the room and like hits the cat or something, and it breaks and there's water everywhere, and it's science is what it is, and it's an awful thing that has brought us. Science also recently brought us a hamburger made of lab-grown meat that cost $250,000 to create, and that is an expensive hamburger. If I want imitation meat, I will go to Taco Bell. I'm pretty sure that stuff's grown in a lab, so that's fine. When they announced it, all the newspapers were saying, "Will the vegans like it? But will the vegans eat it?" You know, who cares if the vegans will eat it? Vegans make up 0.5% of the U.S. population. Their seal of approval is not going to make or break the success of this economic venture. You know, it's like if we cloned a human just for organ harvesting. And they said, will the cannibals eat it? Will the cannibals like it? They say the vegans might like it because it's cruelty-free. But cruelty is where the flavor comes from. If I'm at like a farm stand, buying some meat, I'll say, excuse me, how did this cow die? I want him to say, well, we took electrodes, shoved it into his brain, and hooked him up to a computer simulation of hell, and he nightmared himself to death! That would be delicious! I would want that! Some, comedy death! How'd you do last night? I died on stage, literally. Some rabbis are saying that the meat may not be kosher, because according to Jewish law, the animal that the cells came from would have to be ritualistically slaughtered, which obviously defeats the purpose of growing meat in a lab. Right? It'd be like if my wife and I had a kid and put it up for adoption, and they said, well, okay, we'll take him, but we have to kill both of you so that the baby is a true orphan. Okay, I kind of see, okay, that's good, that makes sense, yeah. Halloween's coming up. I love Halloween. I'm sick of it. I loved Halloween as a kid. I loved trick-or-treating around my neighborhood. But kids today experiencing Halloween are not experiencing the same Halloween that we experienced as a kid. Nowadays, parents take their kids to the mall to trick-or-treat because it's safer and it's less scary for the kids. Bullshit, that's less scary for the kids. Taking a kid to the mall to go trick-or-treating? Kids afraid of skeletons? Don't go in American Apparel. Afraid of zombies? Did you see the line outside the Apple store this morning? Scary clowns? They're in Spencer's Gifts. We call them juggalos. I shouldn't tease the juggalos though. I had a phase in high school where I wore makeup and had my goth thing going on. But my high school was in Tampa, Florida, and dressing up as a vampire in a place called the Sunshine State is not on a list of recommendations I would have to anyone. 90% humidity, eyeliner, and leather pants. That was an amazing combination. My friends and I would go clubbing. We'd come back looking like someone tried to drown the Addams Family. No. But I love the. I wasn't gonna do this joke, but fuck it, YOLO. What did Dracula say to his real estate agent when he arrived in London? Show me the Carfax. Okay, 2, yes, all right. Success, I'm keeping it. I love, my favorite thing about Halloween is the scary movies that come out, especially on Netflix. I'm a big fan of the Paranormal Activity movies, but I didn't like the recent one, the 4th one, because the family in Paranormal Activity 4 owned a cat. And there should be a rule that says there cannot be a cat in a haunted house movie, because it explains everything that's happening with the ghost. I'm like, oh, did you hear that? All the pictures on the mantle just fell down at once. Yeah, that was probably the cat. No, but you don't understand. I woke up with horrible bloody claw marks all over my body. Yeah, that was most likely the cat. Yeah, but I heard this voice last night. It said, "Leave this house." I wouldn't put it past our cat. He's kind of an asshole, Bill. They will do that. This Halloween, I plan on visiting a graveyard. I'm going to log back into Google+. Biggest laugh. That's the ender. See you in hell, everybody. Goodbye.
Ryan Sawyer, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Google+. I love that. I'm a big fan of Google+. Because I feel like it makes me feel advanced. Like it feels like I'm just really trucking along on the internet. Because it's basically internet made for my dad. It's like bright, shiny objects, really big, legible to read, and like kind of quasi-futuristic. So it's just like, it's like the day when he figured out how to send an email through AOL and called me on a cell phone to be like, I'm in the future now, kid! So yeah, Google Plus.
Yeah, so, oh shit, is this...
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like Lawrence Welk. We have a special guest dropping by the show. I don't know if you're familiar with one of the most popular bands of punk rock, the Ramones, but this is Wally Ramone. Put your hands together. Wally Ramone, what are you just going through our garbage?
Sometimes I sleep out there when it's nice out. I was, when the weather is inclement.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd stop by, and I heard you guys having this 1-year anniversary party. Do we have time if I...
Please, ladies and gentlemen, Wally Ramone is playing Geek Comedy Night's birthday party. Take it away, Wally.
Thank you. Let's keep it going for your host, Kevin Harrison.
Harrington.
I was planning on saying his name correctly. That was not a joke. So here we are, the 1-year anniversary Geek Comedy Night. Let's hear it for it. Geek Comedy Night. I get my strap to work. So Geek Comedy Night was started a year ago, just as a dream. If you guys aren't familiar with me, my name is Wally Ramone. As Kevin mentioned, I was one of the founding members of that punk rock quartet, the Ramones. You guys feeling punk rock? Yeah. Are you? Okay, well prepare to turn those feelings up to 11. Because I am all about punk rock. Okay, I was... involved in the punk rock scene, in the 1970s. It was such an exciting time to be in Manhattan. Every week, I would go to the Cub Gub Club. And I would go see the bands play. I would go every Tuesday night because I was trying to sleep with the singer Blondie from the band of the same name. And I remember one night I am in the audience and I see on stage these 4 chicks who are just the ugliest looking women I've ever seen in my life, but the noise just hit me like a freight train, and I realized these aren't women, these were the Ramones. So I talked to them afterwards. Looking up, I noticed the lead singer. I remembered him from years ago when we were in Hebrew school together. It's Joey Ramone, who the last time I had seen him, we were stuffing him into a locker, which was difficult because in the 3rd grade, Joey Ramone was already 6'2". We had very tall lockers in retrospect for 3rd graders, now that I think about it. But I was the original harmonica player in the Ramones. People tell me you can't hear the harmonica. It is on the records. The guitar is so loud it drowns it out. But if you buy the new CDs, you can isolate the tracks. And you can hear just the harmonica. It's worth it. I would say the music is great. Okay, buy the CDs because they're great. But also buy them because you can hear the harmonica for the first time ever. I was in the band for 2 wonderful weeks. And I learned so many lessons, and punk rock has been something that has stayed with me my whole life. And that's what I love about these Geek Comedy Night shows, is the punk rock attitude. You can do what you want. The opportunity's on. You can find a new way. You can do it today. It's easy to be. And if you want to sing out, sing out. And if you want to be free, be free. 'Cause there's a million things to be. You know that there are, you know that there are, you know that there are. Hey ho, let's go. Hey ho, let's go. Hey ho, let's go. Hey everybody, ho, let's go. Hey ho, let's go. Thank you guys so much. So remember, do what you want when you want to, in the words of Yusuf Islam. If you want to sing out, and if people don't like it, they can go fuck themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, back to your host, Kevin Harrington.
ladies and gentlemen, Wally Ramone. You don't get more punk rock than acoustic Cat Stevens? That is, Jesus, Henry Rollins right now is recording a podcast about how punk rock that is. And our next performer coming to the stage, very funny lady. She actually did our design work for this show, for our back to school special and our 1-year anniversary show. You can see her regularly putting together a comedy show with Mark Gallagher at Cinema Salem. And you can catch her up at the Gloucester Cinema tomorrow night, correct? Nope. No. Nope. Fuck that. You can catch her at Cinema Salem. You can catch her at Cinema Salem. She performs here pretty regularly with us and also over at Grandma's Basement and the Comedy Studio in Harvard Square. Please put your hands together for Kylie Alexander.
Thank you. I'm going to pull it out anyway. That's what he said. Hello. How are you? Kevin is the sweetest. He continually invites me back, even though I don't give a fuck about geek shit at all. I don't care. I don't know what any of this shit is. I'm sure it's great. I don't know what the fuck it is. Plastic? Okay. You like plastic? Okay. Anyway. You guys seem nice. This seems like a nice, friendly crowd. I did a horrifying show in Worcester one night in a dive bar, and I finally figured out the definitive way that you know a crowd is not going to be your friend. I was watching the comic Before Me go up, and that comic made a reference to the Beatles. He was like, does anybody like the Beatles? And I saw someone do this. And I was like, what the fuck was that? That's your reaction to the Beatles? If you hear Beatles and you hear in your head, yes, I do like to party, we're not going to be friends. We're not going to get along. You're not going to enjoy my humor. Anyway, so I mentioned that I'm not a big geek. I would say I'm more of a loserly person than a geek. There's a difference. And one example of that, I'm going to do a small stunt right now to demonstrate what a loser I am. I'm kind of a wet blanket. Like, I'm just sort of old lady-ish. People ask me to do, like, young person fun activities. And I'm going to show you what happens in my head when people ask me to do fun young person activities, okay? So I have some visual aids here. Alright, so someone will be like, hey, Kylie, you want to go to the beach? You want to go swim in the ocean? And this is what happens in my head. I'm like, not right now. I'm not really in the mood. Some other time. Kylie, how would you like to smoke a little weed or have a pot brownie perhaps? And I'm like, I don't really feel like it. God knows what could happen. Or this is the most horrifying of all. They're like, Kylie, let's go to a bar/party where we can hang out with other, young, like-minded individuals. And I just go, ah! That sounds horrible! Okay. End of stunt. I also, something else about me, I'm something of a hypocrite, and I realized this the other night when I was doing my usual tour of, feminist blogs on the internet. I was like, ooh, Jezebel.com, Bitch Magazine, smash the patriarchy, fuck your calorie counting. And then about 5 minutes later, I found myself on Google typing in, what to do when your thighs look like a fucking car accident. Unattractive. That's what I mean. Are you sexually attracted to car accidents? You're gonna love my thighs. I'm a female, so I get the periods. Something that sucks, my least favorite part about it, I actually get okay ones and people get bad ones. Anyway, I won't discuss it further, but the thing that sucks is having to buy the goddamn accessories every single month that go with it. Pads, tampons, what have you. So what I like to do to cheer myself up when I have to go buy these fucking things is I get all gussied up. I put on a nice dress. I tie a sweater around my neck. Put on a pair of pearls, very dignified like. And then I go into like Walgreens or something and I ask someone, "Excuse me, where am I finding your blood diapies?" Cheers me up right away. You can take the $7.50. I'm feeling good. I'm in a good mood. Alright, I was in the bathing suit area there, so let's just stay there. Has anyone heard of Pinkberry, the ice cream shop?
Yeah.
It's very nice. It's very expensive. They're doing very well. It's very successful. I think Pinkberry, though, sounds kind of vaginal. I don't know if anyone's with me on that one. But they are successful, like I said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a coffee place, and I'm going to follow that same business model, and I'm going to call it Flick My Bean. Thank you. And hopefully they'll be, like, located on the same street, so it's like, if you like pussy, okay. I'm going to leave you with an impression of mine. I only have one voice that I can do, and I just apply it to everything, but it always kind of works out. So anyway, I work in a insurance company. Lots of old, sad, depressing people come in with their depressing shit. And I work with an old, depressing man. And he just had an incredible conversation on the phone right next to me, and I would like to recreate it for you now. This is Larry with his old, depressing bullshit. Hey, yeah. Yeah, we were thinking, I was talking to Faye, and we said, we gotta get a new power of attorney, because, when the time comes, she's not gonna pull the plug. I told you, Faye, you're too emotional. You'll get it to, I need someone to kill me. I need someone to kill me, And, when the time comes, that's fine, because I'll tell you, the alternative, we put my dear mother in a home, all of our life savings down the toilet. I don't know where the hell I'm going to end up. Thank you. Oh, that was it. I meant thank you, all together.
Kylie Alexander, one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Glad diapies for healthy. I love doing that type of stuff. That reminds me, my brother used to do that with me when we were younger. He'd always, kind of trick me to do just stupid stuff to kind of screw with people. We were staying at a hotel, and he's like, "Hey, Kevin, yell out the window. Just yell, hey, fatso, hey, fatso." So I'm, yelling at people, and I'm, 4, and I'm just, falling out of the bed, laughing, oh, this is wonderful. He's just, I've got my little gimp to go out and do comedy jokes for my amusement. And, my mom caught me, and she's like, "We're going to get in so much trouble. Because clearly you're going to get thrown out of a hotel because a 4-year-old is like, you're fat, you're bald." And, but the severity of when you're a child and, processing that you're in trouble, it's the end of the world. And I'm falling down, I'm inconsolable, I'm we're going to get kicked out, we're not going to have any food. Because somehow that's related to getting kicked out. It's they just kind of put you on the street and give you a bindle. And so, yeah. So be careful. It's a cautionary tale of pranking people. You might get kicked out and you might not have any food. A very funny man who would save me from being kicked out on the streets and needing a bindo. I introduce him as the mouse to my Morpheus, or no, my Neo. But I think he's more the Nightwing to my Batman. Ladies and gentlemen, a very handsome man, a very funny man, Matt Chaves.
Oh, guys, yes. This is This is happy time. This is like my time of the month, but it's the inverse. Like this is the one part of the month that I enjoy the most. I don't know. Kai was saying like she's a girl. She gets the periods, which is definitely how we should all refer to it now. I'm a man, so I get the semicolons. It's called the semicolons because I'm kind of an asshole. That's how we're gonna punctuate the beginning of that set. Thank you guys for coming out. This is the best show that I've ever been on. I've done shows in Chinese restaurants, barbershops, bowling alleys, 2 different bowling alleys, a lot of bad bars. This is what's up. Thank you guys. No joke. Now jokes. I was walking by a karate dojo the other day. The other place as well, I guess. Surprise! Hiya! It's also a dojo in here. No. The other day I was walking by a karate dojo and I saw a sign that said, "Ask about our self-defense business cards." I was like, those sound pointy. That was my second thought. My first thought was, karate. Because, I'm just going to go ahead and assume most of you guys got bullied. Right? No? Or you guys are here because you had, productive high schools? Alright, whatever. Admit you have a problem. And I don't know if you guys ever heard, you're getting bullied, take a karate class or whatever. You guys saw the Karate Kid, karate stops bullies. That's an idea that has somehow become a thing in society. Go to a karate studio. Look at the guy teaching. That's a man dealing with bullies to this day. If you're ever feeling bad about yourself, a self-esteem issue, go to your local karate emporium and count the number of adults there. You're better than that many people. Not just at fighting, at everything. You're winning compared to that. Here's how lame karate is. One, I'm going to do these jokes in public. I'm not scared. I was never gonna, if it was my mom's black or whatever, I'd be like, oh, that's a person and they have thoughts and feelings. You do karate, whatever. Second of all, karate was invented in Japan. It's a Japanese mistake, I guess. And they invented it, but do you guys know what the national sport of Japan is? It's efficiency. But after that, it's sumo wrestling. Which means that karate as a fighting style lost to obesity. They thought of karate and then were like, what if we just got really fat instead? That, and it worked. It was better. They went with that. Option B was better. These jokes came to me. They were they're popping around because I was just in Japan. That's not a setup. That's true. It's not I just flew back from Tokyo and boy are my arms robots. It's I was in Japan. I got the shirt in Chicago. Don't ask. It's earlier. Wearing a callback or something. But I was in Japan recently. It was amazing. It's like visiting the future. If you had to describe it quickly to a group of people because you were on a time limit, hypothetically, I would say that Japan is the bizarro world Texas. It's the opposite of Texas. Everything's smaller, no one has any guns, and it's worth visiting. No, really, there are no guns in Japan. None. Tokyo, 30 million people, the police don't have guns. That's true. I've told that to Americans. They're like, how do they protect their freedom? That's what Americans sound like to me now. How do they stay free? Tokyo, you can marry your vacuum cleaner in Tokyo. It's the freest place on earth. Tokyo felt like what would happen if homophobic rhetoric actually came true. It was well, gay people are going to get married. What's next? People marrying their video games? Yeah. Apparently. Works fine. They're doing great over there. It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Eve online. Did that joke somewhere that wasn't here? Didn't work. You guys are real special. This is my anti-period. This is my time right now. Yeah, it's an amazing country. I'm just gonna move on from that. We've been here all night. Let's talk about comic books. Let's do it. You guys have seen Iron Man? I'm gonna assume the movie, the new one. I don't think there was an old one, just in case. Someone in the back's like, there's a 1947 animated series. It ran for whatever. Iron Man. I know that's before the first Iron Man. Shut the.
No. The first one is all. I haven't seen the first one.
All right. If you guys haven't seen it, it has the dumbest supervillain in the world. The dumbest supervillain, hands down. It's guy kidnaps Iron Man. He says, Tony Stark, you work for me now. You're a genius. Make me a giant bomb. Pretty good supervillain plan. But then he screws it all up. Puts Tony Stark in an underground cave dungeon. gives him power tools and a bunch of existing bombs, and is like, all right, Mr. Greatest Engineer in the history of the world, there's no way you're going to escape this one. Do you guys see the tactical mistake here? Do you see the problem in giving, like, an MIT age 8 graduate, like, a bunch of high explosives and welding torches, and then trying to keep him in jail? Like, escaping things is not my specialty. That's not a skill set I have. I've been wearing these shoes for 48 hours because I double knotted them by accident. I spent so much time stuffed in the lockers, I had to repeat 7th grade. Like, I spent 4 years in a broken relationship because I didn't have the strength to say, yeah, fuck you, a lot of mature adults watch Iron Man multiple times in a year. Like, getting out's not my strong suit, but if you give me a cruise missile and an acetylene torch, I'm like Harry Houdini in that piece. Gone. You guys, you've been fantastic. Thank you so much for coming out. It was the best birthday I've ever had. Please give it up for your host, Kevin Harrington.
Matt Chaves, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. We'll be signing studs in the corner later tonight. And speaking of intergalactic menaces or forces of nature, this guy has traveled quite a ways to get here. He came from long ago, far, far away in a distant galaxy. Ladies and gentlemen, the folk rock stylings of Sal Voyager.
Oh, thank you so much. It's good to be here on Earth. I come from Nar Shaddaa, which is the vertical city. Some of you may have heard of it. It used to be a blooming metropolis. Now it's overrun by crime and filth. I think the most logical comparison to make is it's like your Earth Detroit. Something like that. So I wrote a little song here to kind of enlighten you as to how things have changed in my galaxy. It's called Nothing's the Same Now That Everything's Changed. Oh, Tatooine used to be green, with the prettiest forest you ever had seen. But then everything changed when the Sand People came. Or was it the humans, well, who is to blame? Now they're all trapped in cloisters, farming for moisture. Things aren't the same now that Tatooine has changed. When things on Kashyyyk started to turn bleak, we just twiddled our thumbs and no one dared speak of all the mass graves and those Wookiee slaves. We just hoped to the Force that they would be saved. Now there's no nooks and crannies for those Wookiee families. Things aren't the same now that Kashyyyk has changed. And old Nar Shaddaa used to be Shangri-La. Oh, at the very worst it was like Dagobah. But that changed so soon when it became Smuggler's Moon. All the rising tall buildings spelled out its doom. Before Grands and Trandoshans, moist land and ocean, things aren't the same now that Nar Shaddaa has changed. Things aren't the same now that everything has changed. Thank you. I've come here with a message tonight. I was on Yavin 4 the other day playing for the troops. That felt good. Before that, I was at Mos Eisley, playing with the modal nodes. You remember them? They had that hit back in the day, Ba, 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 we all remember. We all went to prom. I sat in with them a few times. I sat in with the Tricorders recently on their album Troubles and Tribulations. That was fun. I've sat in with Wally Ramone on some of his albums that have never been released. But I came here with a message to talk to you about the war that's going on. Old man me, Mr. Palpatine, trying to keep us down, keep us enslaved. Now, did you know that for every TIE interceptor that the Empire builds, that credits could be used to feed all the Twi'leks for an entire year? Wake up, Tauntauns, this is our Clone War. So I wrote a song to enlighten you all. This is called The Silence. That ain't no moon up in the sky, just the face of the Empire and its unyielding eye. And every time it blinks, a million voices cry. They cried out and suddenly are silenced. When I was just a boy, my daddy left my home, hopped in his V-19, went off to fight the clones, left me and mommy on Nar Shaddaa all alone with nothing but the silence. Well, first they came for the Jedi and I said nothing. Then they came for the Gungans and the Comicazi. That Imperial drone keeps marching on and on. And what will I do when they come for me? What will I do when they come for me? And when they asked the princess about the rebel base, she stared death in the eyes and then lied to its face. But they fired their lasers, leaving nothing but space. Space and rocks and silence. Well, first they blew up the garrison moon of Kessel, and next was Despire and Alderaan. Now we'd all like to pretend that the bloodshed has seen its end, but the stars aren't as pretty with them gone. The stars aren't as pretty with them gone. When I lie in bed and think of all the rebels that have died, and I hear the soft whimpers of all the Ewoks that have cried, I still hear a voice that's calling from inside. The light in the tunnel is just 2 meters wide. So we must take up this cause and save each other. We must set aside our loyalty and pride. If we all pick up our blasters, we can rebel against these bastards. And if we fail, at least we know we've tried. With our blasters and the Force by our side. But if the Force be with us, who be on their side? Alderaan, never forget!
Sal Voyager, one more time, a.k.a. Nick Ortolani. Are we okay, Mr. Manager? Okay, I guess this is my performance review. Our next comedian...
If I may, just briefly, while we're up here, I just have a brief public service announcement. You see, I represent a small school in Greater Westchester County. You may have heard of it. Professor Charles Xavier is a great man, good friend of mine, good buddy, good drinking man, you know what I'm saying, put the coat back. He tells you all kinds of brain things, make people freeze in time. I wouldn't say that. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, there is an opportunity for you in this community to come and support what we do. So on October 12th at the Davis Square Theater, Comicazi and myself, I'm very proud of myself. Oh boy, I ate pizza today. Big old pepperoni pizza just for me. We're going to be raising money for Charles Xavier continuing school for regular standard adult human education. It has nothing to do with being extraordinary. My friend in the back here who hasn't taken his eyes off the goddamn Game Boy to save his life for a minute. How many heart containers do you have left there, Princess Zelda? Oh boy. Yeah, so anyway, outstanding community members like this, we're trying to get a small business association going here to really tank the economy. So October 12th, come out. We have music, we have dancing, we have good vibes, we have this, man. It's going to be a great time. Thank you very much. And now I will return you to this wonderful programming. Oh boy, I love you.
Thank you. So Charles Xavier's perfectly normal student for school for children and adults.
And yes, and it's continuing adult human education.
For humans.
Just regular humans.
For regular humans. Well, great. We'll check that out on October 12th. Our next comedian coming to the stage, very funny guy, not a mutant. That's a seamless transition as I go from mutants. I always introduce this guy by referencing bears, but I'm not going to do that tonight, because that wouldn't make any sense. So, a very funny guy. He's been a regular on our show and a part of Geek Week. Please put your hands together for Andrew Mayer.
I love how it always goes. I'm not mentioning bears tonight. Oh, no reason. Here's Andrew Mayer, you guys. Is Matt still here? Matt Chase?
Yes.
He was talking about Japan earlier. I came up with an idea for a title for your joke about karate, and it's karate, a world's most expensive pajamas. and I didn't know that they don't allow, that no one has guns in Tokyo, but I think I've always just assumed that everyone in Japan has a sword, and I don't know if that's more or less dangerous than if everyone's allowed to have a gun. Probably less. And the more I think about it, the more I think it's probably less dangerous. I got to go to London last year for comedy, and I expected it to be safer over there because they don't allow guns over there, and drive-by stabbings are not a thing. And I ended up Googling the phrase drive-by stabbings before I left, and there were a shocking number of hits for something that should be impossible, like way too many. And I read this article from the UK in 2004, I think, that was it was this guy who drove by stabbed 6 people before he finally got caught by police. And every one in the article, though, was the guy would drive up in a car, stop the car, get out of the car, run over, stab a guy, get back in the car, drive away. And I don't think that counts if you're going to get technical about... You can't leave the car and have that still qualify. You're going to have to either coax people over to your car. It's nah, I just want to tell you something. What? Or have a knife on a string that you just throw, and then got an urban harpoon of some kind. Stand in the flatbed of a truck with a lance just poking people, drive around. I think that qualifies. It's weird being over there. I was walking down. I was in kind of a ritzy part of London. We're staying with a friend of my friend, and we're walking down the street, and it's this 3-floor apartment building, and they're doing construction on it of some kind because there's a guy standing on the roof of the thing, and he is for whatever reason just tossing these fist-sized metal objects off the roof, just out into the street basically. And down on the street there's a guy who is his partner of some kind, and he's just standing, and at his feet, right at his feet, there's a bucket, and every one of these is just landing in the bucket, just bang, bang, from really high up, and he's just staring straight up at the thing, and it's this doesn't seem safe at all. And I get up closer, and I see that the guy down below is wearing an eye patch, and I was oh hey, I was right. we were close enough to Chelsea Stadium that we were the tickets were crazy expensive to go see a soccer game, and I know some about soccer, but not a ton, so it wasn't that interesting to me. But we're well, what we'll do instead of going to the game is there's a bar right across the street from the game, and we'll go and watch the game in there, and it'll be a delightful time. And I figured it would be a cask and flagon type deal, and nope, not at all. It was we got there 2 hours before the game had started, and they had moved out all the furniture in the bar, in the entire bar, to fit more shirtless people inside. Like, I got in there, and it was just like 90 degrees, and everyone's just breathing each other's breath and singing songs that I don't understand, and kind of pushing me around a little bit because I don't have anything blue on. And I was like, this is a nightmare. And we ended up going down the street to a place that just had old, rich Chelsea fans in it. And even there, I didn't want to, like, get in a fight with anybody, so, like, I'm just being agreeable with everything that everyone says to me. Where, like, this guy's like, the coach this year is so much better than last year. I'm like, so much better, I know. Last year's coach was all like, use your hands, and that's just never going to work. Never an effective strategy. You guys, I have given probably too much thought to ghosts recently, and I'm going to tell you guys about that. I've decided that we are going to be the most annoying generation of ghosts, hands down. Like, in like 60 years when all of us are dead. Because, like, we have no unfinished business at all, because everyone's life is amazing, is basically the point. Is like, every other generation's unfinished business is like, well, I was king, and then my uncle poured poison in my, or my brother poured poison in my ear, and now he's king, and he's got my wife, and I think this is Hamlet. But our unfinished business is going to be like, AT&T's service is spotty a lot, so just tell more people about that, I guess. Avenge me. It's just like 3 or 4 people around a Ouija board, just like, this fucking ghost makes me spell like one more goddamn time. Moving around like, semicolon. You guys get the idea. I'm not gonna fill in the rest. I also realized that every like ghost that isn't just like disembodied a guy in a sheet, basically every other one that I've seen is wearing the clothes that they wore when they died, and that is a frightening thought in my head, because all I want to do now is just not die naked, because I don't want my enemies to be thinking that they're being haunted by some pervert. Is really all there is to it. Nope, you're being haunted by me. I could be a pervert. You guys don't know. We just met. Here's a different thing about me that you don't know, because we also just met. I came from a very small town in western Massachusetts called Athol, Massachusetts. I don't know if anybody here has heard of that place before. It's very much a drive-through city. Like, you've probably never stopped there, anyone who actually has been there, unless you're really into like teen pregnancy statistics or something like that. And that's not really like a tourism industry, so I get it. But it's like this little 10,000 person town that I grew up in. I grew up not knowing very many people. My 8th grade class was 11 kids. Incidentally, in my 8th grade class for Halloween that year, I went as Geordie LaForge. And someone else in that 11 people also went as Geordie LaForge. And I was so mad. So mad. I know stuff. I know some things, like, I don't know, probably like 60% of what are on these walls. It's kind of the perfect amount of geek to be, in that, like, I enjoy the things that are put out now, like all the movies, I really tend to enjoy those. Like, I know enough about them to enjoy those, but not so much that I get to still have joy in my life. Like, when the new Star Trek movie came out, everyone was so mad, and it's like, alright, space is pretty cool. But yeah, I just grew up super, I don't want to say sheltered, but I kind of was. I wasn't allowed to swear growing up, but like our definition of swears in my house was different. We weren't allowed to say the regular ones, but then also like stupid or hate or shut up we weren't allowed to say. Also weren't allowed to say fart. We had to call them poop noises instead. That's just a real thing. It's probably worse. It's probably weirder. And so, but like, I just grew up thinking that was just a generally accepted term for what farts are. And so, like, I went to regular people's school after that. It was just like, oh, you guys have made a poop noise, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was just like, oh, you're also in 4th grade and just said fuck. I am on a learning curve. I don't know if this paints the picture any better, but the first concert I ever went to was Gloria Estefan. That's just a fact about me. I'll just color in the blank spots a little bit in my life. But like, it's been interesting moving to a major city because I'm just the least streetwise person that has ever existed. I'm just dopey and I'm just like a wide-eyed deer all the time that will just like wander into circumstances that I'm gonna get taken advantage of at some point. My first summer in Boston, this is a few years ago now, but I was walking down Harvard Ave, which is a fairly busy street, and this like 56-year-old guy yells at me from across Harvard Ave. He was like, "Hey!" I was like, "What's up, man?" And he was like, "Come over here," like from across the street again. He wanted me to go through traffic to talk to him. And I was like, "Oh, I'm sort of on my way to a thing. What do you like, need directions or something?" And he paused and then he went, "Yeah." And that is, I know now that is several red flags. But I crossed the street to see what that guy needed, and like I'm fine. I didn't die or anything. That would be a weird twist to the story. But it's just not a good instinct to have as a like fully grown adult. Like one time I stood back to back with a homeless lady because she wanted to see how different our heights were in comparison. And I was like, all right, let's. Will this make you go away? No? Interesting. This is why I wouldn't make a good superhero, is all. Like those people have to tackle people on hunches all the time and are right every time. And I'm just like, yeah. If I had a comic book, my comic book would be like one panel, and it would be like me just handing an adult a knife. Like, school project, you said? All right, that seems fine. Good luck with that, guy with question marks all over your suit. Enjoy. All right, I think that's all from you guys. Thank you.
Andrew Mayer, one more time. I gave an introduction one time just to explain the Bears thing, in which I realized it's such a... I mean to do that more like I should just tell Andrew I'm not going to bring up the bear thing between us, because then it just seems like some sort of weird, like, this is a language that only twins speak, and this is some code, like, and then we'll take our pants off and the orgy will begin. Nothing about bears tonight, right? Because I think he just sent me a story about bears one time, and I meant to say, oh, tell them about that story about the bears to an audience as we were leaving a show. But I said, oh, do the bit about bears, which I just pimped him into create a stand-up routine about this thing I just made up right now as I was leaving, and like left Andrew with a crowd of people at a restaurant. Like, and later he's like, so I basically had to talk to these people about bears for 20 minutes. Thanks very much. I don't have a stand-up set about bears. I'm like, oh shit, right.
Oh, I definitely do.
Oh, well, I mean, you have jokes about bears, but I think I accidentally pimped you into telling a bear story, and every time after that, like an asshole, in my head I'm thinking, oh yeah, he's not doing the bear joke, but I'm like, and he loves bears, and he's kind of like, well, yeah, I guess as much as I love other things, and so I apologize to Andrew, very funny guy. We didn't do anything about bears. That's our thing that we do. If you guys want to come to the Bear Circle, we can do that after the show later tonight. Very funny comedian coming up the stage. You can see him at the Comedy Studio. I got to know him through mutual friends, the Walsh Brothers. You can see him. He's a master of Taekwondo and jokes. Please put your hands together for James Patterson.
Guys, keep it going for Kevin. This is a great, fun show. So I will. I'm gonna tell you some jokes about my childhood, and I will let you be the judge of my geek credentials. When I was a kid, my neighbor and I designed and built our own parachutes, and in order to test them, we jumped off the roof of my house. I broke my leg. My neighbor broke both of his, proving mine to be the superior design. I believe on the strength of my parachute experiment, one summer my mother and father sent me to science camp, which was about as fun as it sounds. It was science camp, so we weren't allowed to believe in ghosts. We told low probability event stories around the campfire. When I was really little, my mother used to take me to the park to play chess against the old Russian men. And big crowds used to gather to watch because I cried so much when I lost. I was a tantrum prodigy. It's on the Tonight Show. I tortured my mother growing up. I remember one time in an effort to try to get out of going to school, I pretended to be possessed by the devil. I was just flailing around my bed, screaming at my mother in Latin. It didn't take her long to figure out that the real devil probably wouldn't just keep yelling E pluribus unum over and over again. My father and I were idiotically competitive. When I was a little kid, he would try to one-up me at things. And now he's an old man, and I'm still trying to one-up him. It hit its crescendo about a year ago, and I had a vacation coming, and I decided to go to Vietnam, just so he can't throw that in my face anymore. You know, he killed more people. He was a medic. He didn't know what he was doing. It was about 10 years ago, on the very first day of the second war in Iraq, I bought my very first fish tank. And it really changed the way I looked at that war. I don't want to go so far as to say that it helped me sympathize with Saddam Hussein, but it did teach me the very valuable lesson in life that it's hard to be in charge of things. You know? He had competing Sunni and Shiite interests to manage, the Kurds of the north, international sanctions, and I want to be clear. I'm not talking about a fish bowl. Fish tank. Pumps, filters, chemicals, things that require leadership. And the difficulty for me is that deep down, I know in my heart that I was doing what I thought was best for those fish. But from their point of view, I'm one of the worst mass murderers that's ever lived. My girlfriend screamed at me today. She's furious because she says in life, I never make plans. Little does she know, Operation New Girlfriend has been underway for months. Whenever a girl breaks up with me, I always secretly root for them to have horrible lives. Not horrible lives, just I sort of wish cruel ironies upon them. You know, sort of like be careful what you wish for type lessons. I had a girl break up with me once because she said I was too nice. So I, of course, hope she ends up with a guy who hits her. I had a girl break up with me once, and then I found out later on that she said it was because I wasn't good looking enough. So I hope she ends up with a really ugly guy who hits her. I found out that the girl that I used to date in high school decided to become a nun. And back when we were kids, she used to always talk about wanting to get married, so when I saw her, I asked her about it, and she said that that wasn't her path anymore, because now she's married to Jesus, which is creepy. You know, with the age difference. What could they have in common? When she was in kindergarten, he was 1980. I definitely lean toward the liberal side of things, and my parents lean toward fascism. And so we argue about a lot of things. And as I've gotten older, I find that the worst thing that can ever happen to me is the rare cases when they win. Like I said, it doesn't happen very often. I don't know if any of you've experienced this, but every once in a while, I'll be in an argument with them about something, and I will sort of reach my liberal limit right in front of them, and it's a horrible defeat. I'll give you an example. A cousin of mine he's sort of a screwed up guy, and the family's really hard on him, so I always try to stick up for him. And the other day, my mother came up to me and she was like, "Did you hear about your cousin Matthew? It's bad." And I was like, "What?" And she said, "They found pornography in his bedroom." And I was like, "Mom, people look at pornography. I know you think it's a mortal sin, but most people don't. Why don't you just stay out of his business?" And she said, "It was gay pornography." And I was like, "Mom, people are gay. Why don't you keep your evangelical views out of his life?" And she said, "It was gay pornography starring him." And I said, "Mom, they just have to get him back into the church." It was pretty clear. He needs Jesus for a co-pilot. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
One more time for James Patterson. Our final performer tonight, a good friend of mine, a good friend of yours, about to be a good friend of yours if you haven't met him. You can see him on Quiet D, Quiet Desperation. He's a musician, a comedian, and a hero to all. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Rob Patillo.
It's gonna take a couple seconds. I'm sorry. Okay, this is a disaster. Hi guys, let's hear it for comedy. A couple of things real quick before I start. My name's Rob Patillo. I just moved back to the area. I was in Plymouth all summer working at a fucking bakery wearing orange Crocs. And Kevin asked me to do this show and shit, and I didn't even have an acoustic guitar with a strap. I just found that out when I got here. I asked the little shit over there if I could get some lanyards and like use it as like a strap, and then I realized you need like a little peg right there to put it on. So bear with me while we adjust the comedy. How you guys been doing? I know, you had 40 fucking acts and now the third guitar act. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sick. Maybe Obama has a DVD that he records you and me and lets his drinking buddies watch us fuck up while they're laughing their asses off. It's like someone put a little condom on my dreams, cause now I can't feel a fucking thing. It's like someone put a little condom on my dreams, cause now I can't feel a single thing. Everybody, ay, 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 ay. No laughter, come on, participation. Yeah, all the ladies, ay, 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 ay. Fuck y'all. Seriously, you're all dead now. You're all fucking living vicariously on your Facebooks. You don't give a shit about real life. You guys are just puppets here. Fuck y'all. All I wanted was a simple backup vocal for Condom. Ay, ay, ay! And you're staring at me with creepy dickhead eyes like half of you. I fucking worked in Plymouth all summer at a bakery wearing orange Crocs and having to listen to fucking NXS on Pandora. Oh, there's a mystic. You guys wouldn't understand. You want me to die up here. You want me to go home tonight, cry in Watertown, sleep alone, and fucking, oh, you'll be on Facebook tomorrow morning, no, liking and sharing all that shit on the Matrix, right? Here we go. Keep posting on Facebook about love and hope. It doesn't fucking matter anymore. No one gives a shit about your Gandhi quote, and it doesn't really matter anymore. Yeah. Oh, you won't participate now, but you'll like it when you get home and play Sim Facebook, right? You know, you can't live right now. You can't even show reactions right here, but it doesn't matter. Let's do another one. So I lived in Plymouth all summer. They had a lot of sports bars down there. That was fun and shit. So I wrote this for the sports bars. This one's called I Got Construction Boots. Get your hands off your dick. Well, I love it. Keep it there. I love it. Most people, they like move their hands. Yeah! Play with it. I hear you. Just fucking let it loose. I got construction boots. I'm gonna do construction. I got construction boots. I'm gonna do construction. I got construction boots. Let's go out and build the fucking shed. Well, I got construction boots and I drink Miller Lite. I don't trust gay people. I listen to Godsmack. I got construction boots. Let's go out and build a fucking shed. Well, America America's the best, it says so in the Bible. I got construction boots, I wrote the goddamn Bible. I drink Miller Lite, and I like to listen to Sting. Well, I got construction boots, I'm gonna build a tank and blow up gay people and watch the fucking football. I drink Miller Lite, I believe these colors will never run. Fly, eagle. I just political. I'm like trying to get those political songs like Dylan and shit. Like, I want to write a song for Aaron Hernandez. You know, the guy who got caught for popping everybody. I know he's guilty. But what if you take like the hurricane route and just like write a song like pistol shots rang out in a North Attleboro night. Enter Ray Lewis from the upper hall. He sees a semi-pro player in a pool of blood. He says, my God, they must have killed them all. Here comes the story of the Hernandez cane. The one the authorities tried to frame. You know, I mean, he might still be guilty. There's a lot of evidence. But what if I started like visiting him in jail and like, how you doing today, dude? Shitty, man. I mean, they got me. And you know, I write a really compelling song. You know, Aaron Hernandez liked to take a blocker with just one punch, but he never liked to brag about it all that much. It's my job, he said, and I do it for pay. And when it's all over, I'll be on my way to smoke PCP in Connecticut. But they blamed him for a semi-pro death. And though they could not produce the gun. Anyways, it's rolling. The FBI said he was the one that did the deed. And the all-white jury agreed. I know they haven't had it yet, but you get those lies out there. Hitler once said the bigger the lie, the more people believe it. Right, guys? Touchdown, Hernandez, right? I don't know. And to the black folks, he was just a crazy Puerto Rican. No one ever doubted that he poured. In North Attleboro, that's just the way things are. Anyways, working on it. I don't know. I don't give a shit. I'm not method acting, you know. These are all real life bits. We're human, right? You people are living, right? No, you're not. You'll like it on Facebook, though, and you'll share a very controversial photo about Mitt Romney tomorrow. You guys are fearless up there. Let's do a sing-along. Let's see if you cocksuckers can finish this off on a high note. You know, I know. Let's do this. Gonna work at Best Buy and make small talk. Everybody, hot dogs and applesauce. Come on! Hot dogs and applesauce. Come on! Hot dogs and applesauce. Gonna work at Best Buy and talk to your dad. Touchdown! Hot dogs and applesauce. And maybe we'll get married one day. Okay, you guys got it. Let's do this for real now. Gonna go to Staples and snort Percocets. Come on! Hot dogs and applesauce. All the ladies, hot dogs and applesauce. All the fellas, hot dogs and applesauce. Gonna go to Staples and crack some Oxy. Come on! Hot dogs and applesauce. And maybe we'll get married one day. One more verse. You guys have been amazing. My name is Rob Patillo, P-O-T-Y-L-O. If you just remember, I know ADD is hell on earth, but if you type P-O-T-Y-L-O onto YouTube, you can see me singing the 50 Angry Cops down at the Democratic National Convention. You can see me singing the Cops at Occupy New York. Let's do it together. Now you guys like me. Let's do this all together. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 09, 11 was an inside job. Everybody, hot dogs and applesauce. Come on. Hot dogs! I know, shaking your head, oh, those bad guys did it. I'm not gonna sing hot dogs and applesauce for that shit. It was those guys across the land. They knocked down all 3 towers with those planes. No, just 2, and then the third one, just like, what happened to that one? It was weird, huh? Get your hand off your dick. We're talking about tragedy. Towers went down, and you're playing with it like, oh my God, 3,000, that's crazy. You guys have been absolutely, I don't know. I'm trying to do those fucking political songs, but no one gives a shit, right? In this country, it's like, 1, 2, 3, 4. The banks are crooks, corporations suck. But no one really gives a fuck. As long as we have our shit and Slurpees are only $1, sir. It's a perfect wonder why we're on the Facebooks at night. You guys have been real. I know in a couple of years you'll evolve so you become more your personalities instead of being scared here like little Susie or Cindy Brady on that game show on the Brady Bunch. I want you people warriors. Get off of Sim Earth on fucking Facebook and fight! They're spying on you, but you don't give a shit. You want to jerk off and watch Brady. You guys have been great. Have a wonderful evening.
Rob Patillo is the definition of a warrior in every true sense of that word. One more time for Rob Patillo. One more time for all of our comedians tonight. One more time for you guys. Thank you so much. This has been Geek Comedy Night. This is our 1-year anniversary. And as we leave, I think Sal and Wally wanted to come out and play a special song for you guys on our way out, just to say thank you for coming. And ladies and gentlemen, it's your protest song that you wanted to share with us?
It's a punk rock.
Oh, it's a punk rock anthem?
Classic. It's an earth song. Anthem is a good word for it.
Anthem is a
punk rock anthem.
And should people sing along?
If they know the words, feel free to join in.
Feel free to join us. This has been Geek Comedy Night. Give it up for yourselves one more time. Thank you so much. Funk song? Rob, you want to join?
I know this thing's not in tune.
She was pure like snowflakes, no one could ever stain that memory of my angel who never caused such pain. Years go by, I'm looking through a girly magazine. There's my homeroom angel on the pages in between.
My blood runs cold.
My memory has just been sold.
My angel in the centerfold. Angel in the centerfold.
My blood runs cold. My memory has just been sold. My
angel in the centerfold. My angel in the centerfold.
Just the big notes under her desk while I was thinking about her dress. I was shy, I turned away before she caught my eye. I was shaking in my shoes whenever she got them baby blues. Something got a hold on me when Angel passed close by. Soft fuzzy sweaters, too magical to touch. To see her in that negligee was really just too much. My blood runs cold. My memory has just been sold. My angel is a centerfold.
Angel is a centerfold.
My blood runs cold. My memory has just been sold.
Angel in the centerfold. Angel in the centerfold. Na 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 na. Da 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 dee ba da ba da sha ba da dee da dee da da dee da da dee da dee 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 da da. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, oh.
Let's go.
Hey, oh. Let's go. It's okay, I understand. This ain't no never land. But when this issue's gone, I'll see you when your clothes are on. Take this car, yes we will. Take a car and drive it. Take it to a motel room and take them off in private. Part of me has just been wrecked. Hey, pages from my mind are ripped. I can't deny it. Oh well, I guess I gotta buy it. My blood runs cold.
My memory has just been sold. Angel in the centerfold. An angel in the centerfold. My blood runs cold. My memory has just been sold. An angel in the centerfold. My angel in the centerfold. Na 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 na. That's been the show. Give it up for all your comedians. Give it up for yourselves. Thank you so much. We'll be back here October 5th. Come check out Comicazi next Saturday night, 8 o'clock, right here at Comicazi. Thank you.